Have you ever noticed a change in the bedroom? A quiet distance that maybe wasn't there before? For so many men, especially as we get over 50, that spark just isn't there like it used to be. We're often told, hey, it's just a part of getting older. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there was a way to support your body's natural vitality with simple, natural powders you can mix right into your water? The story I'm about to share is one that many men are now discovering, and it all starts with understanding what's really going on inside your body. Let me tell you about a man we'll call Mark. Mark is 58, happily married for over 3 decades to the love of his life. But lately, things had shifted. The easy intimacy they once shared had become strained. In those quiet moments when he'd look at his wife, he'd feel a pang of guilt and frustration. It wasn't that he didn't love her or desire her, but his body just wasn't cooperating the way it used to. He felt like he was letting her down, and that feeling started chipping away at his confidence, not just in the bedroom, but in every part of his life. He tried to brush it off as a normal part of aging, something every man his age just has to accept. He'd even hear friends say, "It happens to all of us, buddy." But accepting it felt like giving up on a crucial part of his marriage and a part of himself. He could feel a distance growing between him and his wife, an unspoken tension that was louder than any words. He knew he had to do something, not just for the physical connection, but for the emotional intimacy he cherished more than anything. He refused to believe this was the end of their story. Mark, like so many guys, fell into the trap of blaming one thing, his age. But as he started digging deeper, spending late nights scrolling through health forums and articles, he uncovered a different story. He learned that while aging plays a role, the issue often isn't age itself, but a key biological factor, a molecule called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the body's master regulator for blood flow. It acts as a vasodilator, which is just a fancy way of saying it signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. This allows blood to flow more freely to every part of your body, especially where you need it most for intimacy. When you're young, your body is a nitric oxide powerhouse. But as men get older, production can decline. This decline is a significant factor in changing performance. It's not just about age. It's about biology. And here's the good news about biology. It can often be supported and influenced. This realization was a game changer for Mark. The problem wasn't some unstoppable clock. It was a puzzle he might be able to solve. He wasn't failing. His body was just missing a key ingredient. If Mark's story is hitting home for you, if you've ever felt that same frustration, do me a favor and take a second to click that subscribe button. We're on this journey to reclaim our vitality together, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Mark's research led him to a naturally occurring amino acid called L-citrulline. You've probably had it before without even knowing, since it's found in healthy foods like watermelon. But in a concentrated powder form, it holds interesting potential. Here's the simple version of how it works. When you take L-citrulline, your body converts it into another amino acid, L-arginine, which then becomes fuel for your body's nitric oxide production. It's actually more effective than taking L-arginine directly, because L-citrulline bypasses the breakdown in your gut and liver. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. Low nitric oxide is like having a kink in that hose. The flow is weak and restricted. L-citrulline essentially gives your body the raw materials it needs to help unkink that hose, supporting healthy blood flow. The science is still emerging, but it's promising. In one small 2011 study with 24 men who had mild erectile dysfunction, the men took a placebo for 1 month, followed by L-citrulline for another month. While taking L-citrulline, half of the men reported their erection hardness improved from mildly dysfunctional to normal. For Mark, this wasn't just some random claim. It was a beacon of hope, grounded in real, albeit preliminary, science. He found a quality L-citrulline powder and decided this was his first step. L-citrulline was the start, but Mark soon learned that he could support his body from a couple of different angles. He discovered 2 other natural powders that work on different but complementary systems. First was beetroot powder. Beets are loaded with natural compounds called dietary nitrates. Much like L-citrulline, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, but it uses a completely different biological pathway. Adding beetroot powder was a way to support his circulation from another direction. Plus, good blood flow is closely linked to overall cardiovascular health, which is always a concern for men over 50. Second, he found maca root powder. This was different. Maca, a root vegetable from the mountains of Peru, doesn't focus on nitric oxide. Instead, it has been used for centuries traditionally to support libido and sexual desire. While L-citrulline and beetroot powder were addressing the physical mechanics of blood flow, maca has been studied for its potential effects on the psychological aspects of intimacy. Some modern, though small, studies have suggested that maca may help improve self-reported sexual desire. Mark realized this could be a powerful approach, supporting blood flow from 2 different angles while also nurturing his natural drive. Mark started his new routine, mixing the powders into his morning glass of water. For the first week, not much happened, but he decided to trust the process. Then, heading into the 2nd and 3rd week, he started to notice a change. It actually began outside the bedroom. He had more energy during the day. His workouts felt a little stronger. He felt a renewed confidence, a swagger in his step he thought he'd lost for good. Then came the moment. It was a simple, spontaneous evening with his wife. But this time everything was different. His body responded with a vigor and reliability that hadn't been there in years. The connection felt effortless, passionate, and deeply profound. Afterward, as they lay there, his wife turned to him. She was quiet for a moment, and then she looked at him, her eyes full of a love and admiration that he hadn't seen in a long, long time. She didn't have to say a word. Her expression said it all. She was quite literally speechless. In that moment, it wasn't just the physical intimacy that had been restored. It was the emotional closeness, the confidence, the spark, their spark. Mark felt like he hadn't just turned back a page. He had started a whole new, exciting chapter in their life together. Now, before we go any further, this is the most important part of the entire video. You absolutely must talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before starting any new supplement regimen. This is not optional. It's essential. These supplements can affect blood flow and blood pressure and may interact with medications, especially those for heart conditions, blood pressure, or ID. If you get the green light, here's a practical guide based on what research and experts suggest. First, the foundation, L-citrulline. A supplemental dose often seen in studies is between 3 to 6 grams per day. While some men take it before planned intimacy, many find that consistent daily use is key to supporting the body's nitric oxide potential. Second, consider adding beetroot powder. 1 scoop of a quality powder in a morning smoothie or water is a fantastic way to support your body's S-nitrate levels throughout the day. Third, for desire, you might look into maca root powder. Doses between 1.5 to 3.5 grams per day have been used in studies exploring its effects on libido. Many people prefer gelatinized maca, as it's often easier on the stomach. What Mark S. story teaches us is that you don't have to simply accept a decline in vitality as an inevitable part of getting older. You have the power to understand your body and have an informed conversation with your doctor about giving it the support it needs to thrive. This isn't about chasing a memory of who you were at 25. It is about being the absolute best, most vital, and most confident version of yourself right now. It is about deepening the connection with the person you love and refusing to let a solvable biological issue dictate the quality of your relationship. You have the power to write the next chapter of your story. Thanks for watching. If this video gave you some value, please hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe for more tips on living a stronger, healthier life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's start a conversation.